Good morning, everyone. This is What's Your IQ? Let's talk about our impact quotient with Nancy Barbie. And it is my honor and pleasure today to have with me my guest is the past Rotary International president and now the chair of the Rotary Foundation trustees, Holgar Knaak. So thank you so much for being with me today. And let's talk about the foundation, one of my favorite topics.
Thank you very much, Nancy. It's an honor for me to make this foundation promotion because, as I said to you already, that's part of my job description for this year as the chair of the Rotary Foundation. I'm really happy to do that, uh, especially if we can talk a little bit about polio, because as you all know, this is still and will remain the priority number one of Rotary International and the Rotary Foundation, of course.
Absolutely, absolutely. Speaking of polio, I'm glad you brought that up immediately. You were just in Pakistan, I saw, and tell us a little bit about what you saw there, what you learned there, what your purpose was going there. Tell us a little bit about the Pakistan visit.
So, first of all, I was traveling together with our president, Francesco Arazzo. And this doesn't happen very often, that the president and the chair of the foundation are traveling together. But this is just because Pakistan is so important right now in our fight against polio. And our mission was to put some urgency on the government and on the army. No pressure. You cannot put pressure on the Pakistan army, of course, but just explain them how important it is that they really, or that all of us do what we can do. And we all know that the numbers went up since 2 years. They are now again a little bit down, and we are really very hopeful because we are looking for new national immunization days. And they changed the strategies, of course, to be more efficient. And I think that's number one. Also, just to let them know that Rotary will stick to its promise to eradicate polio, because we all know there are so many countries, governments who are stepping back with their contribution. The WHO is in real problems right now. They are missing 25% of their money, and so they start to really to fire people right now because they are not able to pay them. Rotary, that was our major information there in our message. Hey, Rotary will be there whenever you need Rotary.
Oh, that's great. That's great to know. Tell me, you mentioned that their strategies are changing. What type of new strategies are they trying to accomplish?
You know, there are a lot of challenges, many challenges in this country. There are missing about. Let me start different. When I was 5 years ago there, when I was president-elect of Rotary International, I was on the same mission, and they vaccinated about 40 million children that year. Right now, they have to vaccinate 45 million children under 5. This is a real challenge in this country. And there are always, or still, missing about 800,000 children. Different reasons. So not available or refusal is a big story there. But also locked houses. That's one part. The very serious part is there are, especially in southern KP, that's the area quite close to the border to Afghanistan, mountains, of course. There are areas where nobody really can get in. No army and definitely no vaccinators. We are missing there about 95,000 children in this area.
Oh,
But there are other areas. There are also sometimes refusal. And so, especially the army, they are reaching out to influencers. So, what we are doing here, that's really important. It's a little bit different. That's not the people we know from TikTok or from from our social medias. No, this is especially a focus on local leaders, local religious leaders, so that they are convincing their people about the advantages of being vaccinated by polio. That's, by the way, also what works in northern Nigeria. When polio came back in northern Nigeria, and we could convince the religious leaders there to convince their people. So this is part of the new strategy, and of course, security of vaccinators. You know that year by year we are losing vaccinators because of attacks,
Right.
and this is and of course I can understand when they are refusing to go into special areas. So the cooperation with the army is critically important, and they promise to us doing more and giving more security. And this together with the probably new strategy, but I call it advanced strategy. So this brings more hope in this area.
Mhm. That sounds like a good plan, and I know they're working hard, and I know Aziz Memon very well, and
Yeah, it's
I know he's a force to be reckoned with when it comes to polio. So that's great. Who else did you meet with? I know Aziz was there. I know I saw Mike McGovern was there as well. And who were the authorities that you met with in Pakistan itself? Who did you see?
first of all, I think we can all of us can be thankful to Aziz Memon because he's the driving force behind the national polio team, and he is able to make so many things possible. First of all, everybody was there: the president, the chair of the foundation, and the chair of the Polio Plus committee of the international committee, Mike McGovern. And Mike is in this job since 11 years, so he is definitely the most experienced
Right.
part of us, and it's always good. So first of all, we met the prime minister. This is really an honor. So this is the absolute top. And so he was really a little bit angry. You know, if you are reaching out to a prime minister and telling them that what works in India and Indonesia or the Philippines doesn't work in Pakistan, something what nobody really wants to hear. So
Yeah.
that's what I call putting the urgency on this case. And so the health minister was with us, and so it was quite clear direction from the prime minister here to do simply more. Same thing, we visited the army, so the second highest
Oh,
um, army chief was with us, four-star general, and another four-star general who was responsible for polio. So they promised to give the security we need for the polio workers. And you know, there are about 400,000 polio workers,
wow.
plus about 100,000 soldiers, giving security to them. That's a huge amount. And to organize this, and this is unbelievable, but it works. It really works.
Yeah.
And we are here to make sure that it will work a little bit better so that we are more efficient here in
I
Pakistan.
I knew it was a big number. I didn't have any idea that it was quite that large, but it makes sense because, they've got to reach so many different places. Did you feel safe there? Did you feel safe?
So we had the honor, so we are carried by these everywhere known white cars of United Nations. So with the blue UN sign on it, these were WHO cars. And there was always police taking care of us. So I think we always felt very safe in Pakistan.
Okay. Okay.
But you're not talking about numbers, Nancy. So these 400,000 for National Immunization Day, about 400,000 polio workers. They are hiring for that more than 11,000 cars, more than
Oh,
37,000 motorbikes.
good grief.
So for these, imagine 500,000 people are working together, coordinated to make this possible.
I'm glad to hear this. I'm glad we've never heard these numbers, or we knew that there were polio workers. We knew but to hear these numbers is very powerful because it gives us hope here, and it gives us motivation that, shoot, if they've got that many people, then we should be even more dedicated and committed to polio eradication here too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's not just money from our side. So I'm always, when I'm talking about that, I'm always saying, hey, Rotary is alone is collecting $50 million. And this is a number I think nobody of us really can imagine this number. And so it's not just having this number and then moving all the money simply to WHO or UNICEF. No, there's a team, 3 people normally are going to Geneva and negotiation with WHO line by line how much money they need. And these are dozens of spreadsheets, line by line. We are negotiating how much money we need, and we have to be more smart right now because there's not so much money left. And
Yeah.
it starts definitely with the uh, salary of the vaccinators. I'm not quite sure if we can call it salary. It's a little bit more than $3 a day. It's
All
it-
compensation, huh?
yeah. I don't like the name salary for this small money here. But line by line, and I'm always loving to tell people the last 2 lines are for me the most interesting lines because we're taking care of every single dollar. We're not just moving money to these organizations. So the second last line was about $80,000 for buying pieces of soap as a given away if they're opening the doors so that they can give them something something useful. And soap is, especially in this country, always useful. And the
Very.
last and the smallest number, this was uh, last time $18,000 for buying purple markers to make sure that you are making the fingernail purple. So also this is negotiated and line by line, we are taking care of the money. So it's not just 50 million. No, it goes down to $18,000 here.
I'm glad to hear you break it down like this because so many people ask us as an employer now
Yeah,
coordinator and Rotarians, where does the money go? What do we use it
yeah,
for? And so
yeah.
you've given us more information here to make sure that we can say that it's line by line. Now, it goes mostly to the WHO. Is that where it goes, or does it
Yeah,
go to?
to WHO and UNICEF.
Yeah,
This is the agreement with the Gates Foundation, and these 2 organizations, UN agencies, are running the show nearly everywhere.
yeah,
WHO is more responsible for the vaccination, and UNICEF is more what we call mobile social mobilization. So making sure that everybody knows about how the next 2 weeks, our vaccinating team will come. So to make everybody sure, and also to convince people how important this vaccination is.
Oh, wow. What message would you give to clubs? Because we here in the United States and probably around the world too have difficulty with clubs giving their $1,500. And why $1,500? I mean, why isn't it 3,000 or 1,000? Why that? Why is that? And what would you tell them? Why is it important?
And I see right now how fast and quick the polio virus can spread around the world. By the way, we just found polio viruses in wastewater in Germany. So
I,
Germany right now is not called polio free because we found polio. I think in 11 cases we saw polio viruses in wastewater in Germany. So I think one message could be, hey, it's not just for Pakistan or for Afghanistan what you're doing. It's making sure that your own children and grandchildren are safe. It's
right.
not about them. It's always about us to be safe in the future. And I think this is my major message always. Hey, it's not for somewhere else on the other on the other side of the world. It's for us making sure that our children and grandchildren will be never ever crippled.
Yeah, that's extremely important to understand that. And a lot of people don't. It's all about educating and getting an awareness and making sure that people know about polio. And
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
doing a better job at it, but we still got a long way to go to get the word out there, especially in North America. North America and Europe. So we've got to get the word out there. Tell me a little bit about, I know that as a foundation trustee chair, you've set goals, and I know one of them is polio, but what other types of, what are you looking at as far as goals that you would like Rotarians to reach and coordinators to reach this year?
Last year, we had three major goals. Of course, first of all, and for me, always most important, 50 million for polio. And we all know the sources. That's always PDF from districts asking clubs to give these $1,500 for ending polio, asking for creating a polio plus society, all these different things. So this is, for me, also this year, definitely number one goal, to reach this 50 million, to make sure that we can spend together with the Gates Foundation 150 million. And this is so important. Number two is we have a $500 million goal, like last year. And probably nobody knows it really. Last year, we really reached this goal of $500 million contributions and commitments to our Rotary Foundation. This
Wow.
was first time in history, and I didn't change this goal for this year. And then we had this special goal for the endowment fund last year, 2025 million by 2025. We all know that. And also we reached also this goal. We really made it. Not just a little bit. No, we really expanded this goal. Okay, with a little bit of help of the market, to be honest. But we made it. We made it definitely. So for next year, as well, there is no goal for the endowment fund. I know that my successor, past President Jennifer Jones, she will have some ideas. We talked about that yesterday to do that. But this year, I'm focusing on the 500 million for the Rotary Foundation and the 50 million. By the way, it includes, of course, here for polio. These are the special goals.
I'm glad to hear the one about polio. I knew that you would be on board with that one. We've talked about this before, but you know, it has been a little concern by a lot of people here recently, maybe in the last 2, 3, 4 years, that the governors, sitting governors, and the incoming governors are not that familiar with how the Rotary Foundation works. I mean, when you have, a governor call you to ask about where can they get the DDF, and you have them ask you, I had one the other day, did not understand a DRFC, did not understand that the 20% comes from the total amount that they receive after the third year. They took it from the half that they give to the World Fund, and I said, no, that is not that is not where it comes from. I need it off the top. So what is happening? What is happening there? Is this around the world? Is it just here? Is it just me? What Holger?
So, first of all, a DRFT should know about that.
You
So
should.
that's his or her duty. That's his or her job, no doubt. So I think we train everybody quite well. With district governors, no, I'm hesitating to say that they are not or they're less experienced as the years before. So I think it's a different generation right now. 20 years ago, a governor job or a governor office, not to say job, was different to today. I think there are many things for a governor to do and to think of, and we try to reflect that in our training. Or today we are saying learning uh, to build everything in. Our time to do this is reduced. Think of that. 25 years or 30 years ago, 25 years ago, we trained governors for 6 years. Now, and then when I was district governor-elect in San Diego still, we did that for 5 days. Now they are learning for just 4 days. So I think we have to focus on not just this learning in face-to-face learning in Orlando right now. ordering pills in their districts or in their zones. But I think we should more focus on things like this, what we are doing right now, to make sure to give them more background informations, because it's a lot for governors. And
Mm,
I think to be honest, Nancy, I always think a governor needs a good team. A governor doesn't know everything. He needs a good team. He or she, of course, he needs a good team to make sure that the experts are on board when it comes to these things. But of course, the essentials, the major things of the foundation, are like polio, like global grants, they don't have to know how a global grants works and how the share system works. That's sometimes definitely complicated, but there are experts enough in the district. But they have to know about this, that there are peace centers, and then that we are looking for after polio, the contributions for that, and uh, all these different things. I think that's a major point. I think our focus should be more on, how can I say this, a broader learning for them, not going too much in details, because then they are lost.
true.
That takes too much time, you know that from
Yeah.
your own experience, of course. So, but we should work really on a good overview of everybody here, especially on all foundation
Yeah.
issues.
I agree with you. It's just that when I was coming along as governor, I was trained very well on foundation, but the focus was on foundation. It was not, there was no structure on membership nor public image, even though they wove it in a little bit, but the main focus was the foundation. So now you're right, with all the membership and the public image and the this and the that and the polio and this and that. And it is difficult. I like that you said a good
Yeah,
team. So
yeah, yeah.
I think that's very important to point out to them.
And
Um,
my message here to district governors is always make sure that you take your decisions together with your successors,
yes,
because also governors should work as a team. In your so-called your year alone, you are not able to achieve anything.
right,
You need you need 1, 2, 3 years, and if the governor line is working in line, there is a good opportunity to change something. But this is the same thing for club presidents, absolutely. And by the way, also for Rotary International presidents. So we have to work in line. We have to look for the same goals. Then we are able to achieve something. In 1 year alone, nothing would happen.
right. And I know we've got a great staff at RI that does the training, and it's all driven by the incoming president and directors and things like that. It's driven by that. But what should we be doing locally? Like I said, our governors in our zones, what should we be doing differently maybe to spur them along? I mean, we also have training at our institutes. We also have online training. I realize that, but give me some tips that we can really make them know everything about.
I think it's always about results. It's about the impact we are able to achieve with our foundation, with our projects. And it's not just foundation projects. If I'm discussing with clubs, a new club also had to make local projects, of course, to be visible in the community. That also drives membership. But if I'm talking about global grants, the really big projects, I'm always asking clubs and districts, hey, look more for bigger, more impactful global grants,
Hmm.
because bigger projects are more impactful. There are better results. They are better measured. It's a better. They are better to measure, and they are more visible. So we can show people, hey, this is what Rotary is doing. And
Hmm.
unfortunately, the press, the media, they're always looking for big numbers. And if you are coming with the small projects, they are not taken care of you. If we are having bigger projects together with other clubs and other districts to make sure, hey, we are looking for a real big project. This I think this makes really sense.
Hmm.
And it's also encouraging clubs to work together. And that's by the way what the idea of Arch Clump when he founded the foundation. The idea was really that clubs and district are working together to
True.
serve the community, to serve the community. And I think I always love it. Clubs are coming together and doing bigger things together,
Mm,
fundraisers or projects, whatever it is.
yeah.
It gives definitely better visibility in your community.
Yeah, it's taking us some time to change that mindset, isn't it? To get people to,
Yeah, it's not about me and us. It's really about Rotary. You know, the general public doesn't care about Rotary Club A, Rotary Club B. For them, it's just Rotary. And I think this is important. So we are just Rotary, and that's important.
absolutely, absolutely. Wow, that's good food for thought. These are the good suggestions and good things that we can pass on that hopefully people listen here, and I believe they will. I mean, when I've got a big name on a guest on the podcast, people learn seem to listen more. So, um, all right, so let's get personal now. So what is it like being a trustee? Well, I mean, what I mean besides okay, you're the chair, well, I know that, and you're sort of steering the ship. But what is it really like being a trustee? What else do you do? I mean, you go to these meetings so many times a year. What the heck do y'all do there?
So most of the office work is be done as a trustee chair elect. So
Oh,
when I'm sitting in Evanston, making all the appointments, the goal setting, the regional goal settings, appointments of regional leaders, uh, many meetings with staff. So I spend a lot of time in the chair's office as the chair elect. It should be called chair elect's office because as a chair, I know that, and also with my predecessor, Mark Maloney, we just spent 2 times. So the two board meetings in Evanston in April and October. These are the only times I will use this office in the next year. So the major work is done the year before. By the
hmm,
way, this is not just for the chair. This is also for district governors and directors. And so preparing this year, this special year, that's more work as the year itself.
that is
So
very
because I'm traveling a lot right now, I'm doing podcasts like we are doing today and all these different things. So, but really the office work, sitting together with my predecessors, my successors, sitting together with the general secretary, with staff members, all these happens in the year as chair elect.
Mhm.
And if you think what is most important, the my answer is always, most important is being a Rotarian. Whatever office you do, if you're doing an RFC, a district governor, whatever it is, at the end, at the very last end, we are all sitting in our own Rotary clubs among our friends, and nobody cares what kind of offices you had in your career. I think that's for me always the most important thing.
Yeah, that's great. That is great. Do you see any changes in the way the foundation functions besides the programs of scale? You know, that's the big one. And but as far as giving more money back for district grants to the districts or uh global grants, the one to one 50, used to be 1-to-1, now it's not. So you see any change if we're seeing any changes coming in the foundation?
So first of all, have our area of focus managers, young, engaged, inspiring, committed young people. I love to hear them. So no, my job description stands or is written, I should inspire people. I really felt inspired by these new area of focus managers. So we are really like to look for bigger projects, as I said before, not
Yeah.
always these small projects. We are looking for bigger projects, what really brings lasting change to people, measurable lasting change. This, I think that's why we are very special with our Rotary Foundation. It's easy just to buy a machine for an hospital. That's easy to do, and TAP still love it. And I think it's a good entrance point for a global grant because it's easier to manage. But we are really looking for lasting change.
Mm.
So really changing people's lives for the next generations. with our projects of literacy projects. Or, for me, the one example is always just providing a tablet. This is nothing. That means nothing. The students will play with this, probably doing some plays, but nothing else. But train, first of all, the teachers, train the students to have use it in a useful way. And the last goal here is that they are better trained in their time as pupils, as students, that they are able to get a better job because of that, so that their families in the future having a better income. So that's the whole line. So that's always our goal. Like in our vision statement,
Yes.
bringing lasting change to the people, not just from today, from lasting change to make sure that they and their children have a better life in the future. That is our major goal of the Rotary Foundation. And that changed a little bit. And this goes in the direction of bigger, more impactful projects with what we can better measure. We also want to see after 5 and 10 years, what happens here? Does it make sense what we have done? Is the water well, is it still working? Does it change the people's lives? So I think that's changed in our goals of the Rotary Foundation.
Yeah, sounds like we're moving in the right direction. I was so happy when we went from matching grants to global grants years ago, because the matching grants were great, but they were putting a Band-Aid on something. They were quick. They were putting a Band-Aid on it. And then, because I witnessed this, I went somewhere and saw a pump, hand pump, water coming out, clean water. 2 years later, I went back and the pump had clothes lying across it. I mean, because it was broken. No one knew how to fix it, but knew what to do with it. So, I mean, I just, when you see things like that, then you understand, oh, we need to pivot. We need to pivot and take a better look.
And that's, we are always running in problems if projects are based on emotions. That someone was in holidays somewhere in Southeast Asia, Africa, Latin America, and said, oh, we have to do something against that, and then start to do a project. That will definitely fail. So we need emotions when it comes to fundraising. Fundraising is based also on emotions. But if we are talking about projects, it's all about data. It's about community assessment. It's about data before the projects, but also after the projects. Are we doing the right thing with our money? And we want to do the right thing with our money.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a good way to put it. And you're right. When emotions are involved, it's easy to jump. It's easy to jump in feet first without looking at what. I mean, I've experienced that. I did that thing, and I have a tendency to think, oh, I know what's best for somebody else, and then realize that when you do a community assessment, oh, that's not what they wanted at all. That's not what they needed. So yeah, I think this is good. Of course, my love is the foundation. I truly believe that the foundation is the heart and soul of Rotary, and that without that, we would not be doing the getting the new members. We would not be doing the work in the public image that we get. I think we need to do a better job at public image, but we're still working on it. I mean, we're doing fairly well. So, I can't think of anything else that I want to ask you at the moment. Of course, when we get off of this, I probably will. So I may reserve the right to ask you back maybe halfway through the year, or maybe do I'd like to do several interviews with different trustees and you, of course. But thank you so much for being here today. Any last words of encouragement, or words of inspiration, or words of impact that you would like to leave?
Together we can achieve so many things.
That's
and
great.
together we end polio. That's my major message.
That's great.
Thank you so much, Nancy.
Thank you for being with me today. This has been What's Your IQ with Nancy Barbie and my guest today, Holgar Knaak. So thank you so much.